All right. Do something a little bit different today. So I normally am not going to want to do videos like this where it's like a guide or a tutorial or like showing you how to do your work. So I want this to be kind of taken as like me showing you a tool that you can kind of add to your arsenal the next time you're at a shoot. Give you a little bit of, give you kind of something new to do if you haven't already done this. So in the video I did with the Cedric, I kind of showed the light painting. I'll bring it up again. It looks like this, like this, like this. In the Cedric video, I did this one and this one. And now I'm going to show you how to do that. I say light painting. I guess that's light dragging. You could call it light painting. Shutter dragging, I guess, would be the most accurate term for it. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold. So, shutter dragging, light painting, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to show you kind of step by step, get very in depth on how to do it. How you can compose images, kind of the way that I did with like the Honda or the way I did with that Lexus. Kind of multiple things to kind of give you ideas to spark either your interest, to spark your creativity, to kind of push you into trying something different. So for this, all you're really going to need is a tripod. Tripod isn't necessarily necessary. You could just have a camera that has like really good in-body image stabilization, or I believe even if you have a lens with stabilization, that could probably work too. It's not going to work as well. You're not going to be able to get as dramatic of an effect. So those are kind of the two things that you're probably going to need. And then the third one, which might be a little bit harder, is you need to find a spot like this. So what I mean by like this is you do want lights that are not the subject, so lights for the car to make it a little bit easier on you. Doing this in pitch black is going to be a little bit more difficult, but you could probably get a cooler effect with it, so you could try that. Parking garages are perfect. Businesses that are closed are usually pretty perfect. If there's like one or two light sources, that's not really too big of a deal, but what I mean by that is, so like this right here, this light source, if I take a picture of the car of the front here and I drag this way, the lights are going to trail backwards, but so is this big light. It's also going to trail. So to get the best effect, what you're going to want to do is to do that shutter drag, but with no other exterior light source. So then the only thing that's picking up is tail lights, reflections in the lights, headlights, kind of whatever light you're shooting is what you want to drag. You don't want the exterior lights to be visible. If they are, it's probably okay. If there's one or two of them, that's fine. But if you're at like a car meet and you're doing a shutter drag and there's like 7 different lampposts, it can get pretty intense. This example here, you see what I mean? It gets a little crazy, wacky, funky. You know what I mean? All right. Also, maybe CPL filter. Obviously, if you're shooting cars, you need a CPL filter. No questions asked. Go buy one. $30 on Amazon. An ND filter would be good if you're trying to go for longer shutters. You can get an ND CPL combo like I have here. Those are fairly cheap as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and just hop on into it here. So for starters, I want to get this tail light. So what you want to do, set that shutter to, usually a full second is usually the easiest to work with. That's what I tend to do. So focus up, hit the shutter. You see how it goes that full second? You click, second, shutter then closes, image. So what you want to do is click, shutter, click, tilt, click, tilt. I was a little too slow that time. Click, tilt, click, tilt. And then I can show you, and that's what you end up getting. You see how the light trails, and that's what you want. That's the money. So a tip for getting things like perfect, crystal clear, and focus is if you go further down. So if I go to a second and a third, and then I do that, click, drag, click, drag, click, drag, you get a little bit more of a more dramatic effect. Yeah, like that. And then another thing to remember with this is kind of a tip is whichever way you're dragging is the opposite of the trail of the drag. So you have light source. If you're dragging up, the shutter is going to go, or the light source is going to be pulled down. If you drag down, the light source is going to be pulled up. You're working in opposites. So let me see if I can get this here. I'm having a hell of a time keeping this GoPro on my head lately. Yeah, see, I don't really like this light source here, so I'm actually going to go ahead and move my car back a little bit. So, again, at the most ideal garage. There's security sitting in the other garage I wanted to do this at, but this will work. So if I go ahead and here we go. Yeah. Perfect, okay. So, good. Good. There's a little bit of light coming in from this corner light right here, which is fine. Also, my light's turned off, which is kind of annoying. Didn't even realize that happened. There we go. If you're at a side position like this, and you take the photo and you drag to the right, the motion in the front light and the motion in the back lights moves this way. It's like the car is in motion, but it's stationary. And it's a really, really cool effect.
Hey, Jacob from the future here. I don't really do a great job of conveying kind of what I mean with the effect I'm talking about here, and sorry for that. Not really good at doing tutorials or guides. It's my first time trying to do like a teaching thing, so I figured I would just kind of pop into Lightroom here and kind of show you what I mean. So here I'm at a side angle, obviously, of the car. I click down the shutter, and then right as it's about to um, close, I immediately drag to the right. So when you drag to the right, you can see the lights up here in the front, they're being dragged backwards. The lights in the back are being dragged backwards. So that's the effect that you get of the motion. If you were to do drag to the left, they would drag forward. Doesn't look as good, but this is kind of what I mean. So if you're facing it from the side and you drag to the right, you get that weird motion effect where it kind of looks like it's moving, but obviously it's not. And then I have a better one. Yeah, so here you can kind of see how I moved. This one I think I did back and forth, so I moved left and right. No, sorry, this one I just moved directly to the left. You still get that motion. You can see the light trail going straight through. The light that was up here being pulled straight through. This headlight being pulled that way, and it just gives it that cool sense of it moving when it's obviously the wheels are stationary, nothing's actually moving here. And then when it comes to editing photos like this, something I do like to do here, so something I did with like the Lexus, we go ahead and crop, make sure our car is centered, which there it should be. Yeah, we'll call that good enough. So what you want to do is when you crop it, you want the crop to end right at the top. So it seems like there's just a flat line on the actual edge of the image there. And we'll go ahead and do a quick export for this. And we'll bring it on into Photoshop. So here in Photoshop, we basically just have a blank canvas here. I like to just make like a 5,000 by 5,000 to make it easy and give me plenty of room to work with. Drop your image on here and then go ahead and scale it to kind of wherever you would like. Go ahead and duplicate it and drag it up so it's at the top. Then you want to rotate it 180 degrees and flip it horizontally so then it matches. And then you might need to adjust the spacing a little bit, and then there you go. And then from here, what you can do is you can call this good. You can just send it as it is because I mean, it is kind of a cool, unique image. Like when you see people do photo shoots, you don't normally see something like this. To even further the creativity that you can add to this, so you can drop like a horizontal cut of the car. You can drop it in here, and then you could brush around these lights to where you can have the lights go over the car, but then have the car be covering up like this light and this back end here, so it kind of gives it a cool 3D effect. So you can get super creative with this. You can kind of use this as like your base point and then take it kind of wherever you like. But yeah, that's kind of what I would do for like the editing of this particular photo here. So yeah, this is just a really cool effect that I like to play with sometimes. If you have any questions or any comments or anything, even if you have like tips and tricks for whether it be me or just anybody who happens to watch the videos, put them down in the comments. I'll probably end up pinning anything that's super helpful. Just trying to put more creativity out there to the community. If anybody has anything to add, go ahead and add it.
So it's a really cool effect that you can get. I have some old shots that I'll probably put up here that you can see where it's a better effect. I'll show it right here too. Some dude honking at me. Probably means I gotta go. Yeah, we'll probably call that a wrap here. Again, use this as a tool. It's kind of showing you something that I do. Hopefully you can get some use out of it. Go out and try it. Go out and try new things, you know what I mean? Who cares? If it comes out good, if it comes out bad, at least you tried it. Go shoot. Alright, I'm out. See ya.